Hey everybody, Kyle here with Spicer Designs. Welcome back to the channel. Yep. Fall has arrived. This is definitely one of my favorite times of the year. Not sweating the old satchel off out here, doing manual labor. Now, unfortunately, I was hoping to have the website up by now, but of course, I haven't had time. So if you guys are interested in one of these machine hoodies, I do have some in stock. I actually have quite a few in stock, all the way up to 3X. And all the way down to small. They're I would say a lighter hoodie. They're not real thick and heavy, but they seem to hold up pretty decent. I've used the shit out of this one and it's actually starting to tear a little bit. Got some holes in it too. Kind of stinks, but that's just for my own personal hygiene. I only shower once a month. So if you're interested, even though the website's not up, just email me. I'll get you the payment information. I pretty much am using PayPal and Venmo right now. Once I receive payment, I'll get your shipping address and I'll ship it out to you. So I did a little bit of work off camera since the last video that you guys saw where we tested out the spicy dump. And I shouldn't need the spicy dump in this video. I really shouldn't need any equipment except for the Coyote. I just got done using the new Paver compactor. I will say that thing worked pretty well. It did its job, and it's gonna be nice to have on the property in case I need it, because I will need it for future projects. But I ended up spreading a very light layer of rock chips. You can see they're just small little rock chips. And this is the layer that we're gonna use underneath the actual pavers themselves. There's a couple different things that people use. They'll use sand, they'll use ag lime. Rock chips are a good option because it won't erode or get ate out by rodents as much. Anyways, that's what we're using. Now I set some stakes, not the good stakes. See the stake right there? I've got another one right there somewhere and over there. And same thing on the other side. Those are all for reference. So I noticed when I use the transit, it gets you really close. Like when you're just setting grade, it does a really good job. But if you're looking for like really fine tuning, like you want perfection, it tends to be anywhere from, you know, 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch off. And I want this patio perfect. So what I like to do is I'll come out here at night as it starts to get dark. I'll use my laser level and I'll just set myself some grade stakes, and then I can measure down from them to get the exact height or grade that I want. Now, just to be clear, I am not an expert on installing patios. So this isn't a how-to video. This is just how I'm doing it, like a lot of my videos. But this might be good information for you guys if you're looking to maybe take something like this on yourself. A lot of the way this thing has to be installed depends on the area that you live in. I know this is a lot of talking in this intro. I'm getting sick of it myself. All right, so here's what I'm gonna be using to set grade, the final grade with my screening layer. This is just 1-inch EMT conduit. That's a good thickness for that screening layer. A good 1 to 1.1 will give you plenty of room for any variance that's in that initial base layer. And the good thing is I'm gonna reuse this conduit in the shop to run some electrical. All right, enough chit chat. I'm gonna get these conduit runners in there so I can start screening this material and start actually setting some pavers. All right, let me show you what I got here. You can see I have 4 pieces of conduit, like runners. So what I did was I placed the first one down and I wanted to sink it in a little bit. And then I found my height on my reference stakes there. So I pulled 13.5 inches down to that string. That just happens to be the measurement that it ended up being. That means I need 13.5 from every single one of these reference stakes that I put in. And I ran a string, and you can see it's just barely floating above that conduit. Basically that string runs across to the other reference stake, and it just barely sits over the top of each one of these runners. And then I did the same thing with this one in the middle. I ran my string 13.5 down, and it's just barely touching the top of each one of these runners. So right now, the way that this sits, hello Shadow, those 4 conduits and all that string, that is a perfectly level plane right there. And I already know someone's gonna ask, well, you should put pitch to that so the water runs off. Well, they're pavers. Water is going to pass through them. It's not a real big space. It's gonna be a level surface. So when water hits it, it's gonna naturally run off the thing. It's gonna run off right into the pond. It's gonna eventually just soak right through into that nice clean stone base that I have, and it's gonna drain just fine. If you want to put a pitch on your patio, go ahead and put a pitch on it. I personally wanted this thing level. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. Who really gives a shit? So that's kind of the tedious part. I got half of it done. I'm gonna start bringing in loads of that chipped stone with the Coyote, and we'll start screeding that out. I'm gonna find the straightest 10-foot 2x4 that I've got. And once we do that, we'll be laying pavers. Well, I'll be laying pavers. All right, so there's that section. I guess this would be 1/6 of the patio. You can see what I did and how I used those runners with that screeding board. I will say rock chips or the stone chips, in my opinion, it's a little bit harder to really level them up because they kind of bunch up and then they drag like a little bit of a hole in there. So you really got to be mindful of that. The previous patios that I've installed, I used the ag lime, which is like almost like just a crushed aggregate powder. That works pretty well in my opinion. So I'm going to continue. I basically have to get this whole entire half all screeded out. Once I do that, I can then pull those conduit runners up, fill in the little voids that they leave, and then I can start laying pavers. There's something about a pile of dirt that just gravitates kids to it. Me and your mom haven't told you yet, but this is your Christmas present, this pile of dirt right here.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the attitude I like to hear. Hey, get off there. Well, that was extremely tedious, but I'm pretty much ready for pavers. So that first half is all done, perfectly level and ready to start laying pavers. All I have to do is find my reference line, the actual starting edge, and I want that to be perfectly parallel with the foundation of the house. But if you look down this thing, you can see it's absolutely perfect. So it is about dinner time. I'm gonna run inside, relax for a little bit, eat some dinner, and I'm gonna grab the Coyote, pull a couple pallets out here, and we'll get started. Wow. Sun's already going down. It's only 5:40. Awesome. Well, we're finally here. We're gonna start laying some pavers. Now, again, not an expert, but what I can tell you is this is just like a paint job. Good paint job is a good prep job. Same thing applies to these paver patios. If you half-ass it on that part of it, then the part we're about to do, it's gonna look half-ass. I mean, doesn't get any clearer than that. All right, so we have our, what the hell? I think they're called Romanian? No, Armana driftwood or something. It's a specific style of paver. They're made here locally, like 45 minutes away. And there's 4 different patterns that you can do with the pavers that they put on that pallet. So on this pallet, you get so many of these rectangular ones, so many of the squares, and then so many of the larger squares. Those are the 3 sizes, and you get 4 patterns. So I found this on their website. These are the patterns, and you can see all your different pieces and the sizes. Amadora, that's the name of it. Random. Actually, I don't mind random. So here are the 4. This one shows a lot of long straight lines, and so does this one. Oh, this one's not bad, I guess. Well, yeah, it does show a lot of vertical straight lines and horizontal. These 2 right here, they look exactly the same to me, but the squares are just a little bit more spread out. None of them, none of the larger squares are real uniform, which I would think they would be, but they're not. So I don't know. I don't know which one to go with. I think I'm going to go with this one. I've got about 5 minutes to decide which one I'm going with, and then I'm stuck with it. All right, so being that grade slopes down, what I did was I used a longer roll-up tape measure I grabbed from that post, and I pulled straight across, and then I used my 6-foot level to get me a reference point, and then I did the same over on this side of the patio. This part came out in the yard more, but I was able to pull it through and then find that reference point right against that line right there. So if you look close, you can see my yellow string line. That is where I'm going to start the edge of the patio. It's going to butt up to this side. I've got like a 10-inch opening on this side. That is going to be for all of the sitting wall pavers. Those are a bigger style paver. Those will stack and glue together. And from what I've learned, you're not supposed to put the sitting wall on top of the paver patio. It's supposed to be sitting directly on the base material. This first row is gonna suck. Take my time. Another good tool to have doing patio work is a dead blow hammer. It kind of seats them, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait a little bit to do that. Oh, yeah, this one's freaking heavy. So I'm trying to ever so slightly hold that string just off the edge of the paver, because if it touches at any point, it'll push that string off and it could throw off the whole line. There's like little bump outs. It's probably really hard to see right there. And those little bump outs give you like the perfect gap between all the pavers. What the hell do I need now? This is gonna suck. It's gonna take a long time to get used to this pattern. I already know that. All right, so that gets, oh, what the f? That gets 3 of them? That's stupid. I need 3 little guys. I'm gonna spend some time, hopefully get this pattern figured out. I'll throw you guys on a time lapse because it's gonna get real boring real quick. If you're sitting here watching me lay in these pavers, I'm already bored myself. I might go inside and start drinking some beer. Yeah. Well, it has been probably close to 2 weeks now since I started laying the pavers, and I've been chipping away at this kind of night by night. Anyways, this is where I'm at now. I've got all the rest of the block that I have all right here on site. I am going to need more, probably one more full pallet, but I have almost half of the patio done. Actually, it's probably real close to half. And I spent some time out here yesterday with the girls. We got that whole next section all screeded out and leveled. So at this point right now, I'm ready to just continue laying pavers all the way till I get up to the boulder wall. Dozer hasn't been doing shit, just laying there in the sun. Yeah, he feels guilty. Look at him, he's got a guilty face. He won't even look at me. Look at me. Yeah, you're the good boy. That's my good boy.
No rest. No, no. I've been down so long that my mind can't get no rest. No, no. This ain't easy, darling, 'cause the devil's on my trail. I've been running so long.
still not getting the hang of the pattern. I have to look at certain places and then look back at the pattern so I know where to go. But I'm going one row at a time, so it's really pretty easy. And just like that, I am officially out of material. That was 3 pallets of pavers, and I have 2 of them that I would call defective. So out of the 3 pallets, only the 2 bad ones. Not bad. Not bad at all. Well, it's only 12:30 on a Tuesday. Wonder if we're having tacos tonight. We had tacos last night. How'd she mess that one up? Anyways, I have plenty of time today. I'm gonna go run and grab 1 more pallet of the pavers. That should get me right there. And I'm gonna grab a pallet of the larger blocks, which then I can start running the border all the way around the edge, and I can start building up my sitting wall. That sitting wall is also gonna be somewhat of a retaining wall as well. You can see what I mean. Right here, I can't just have dirt running into this patio. Well, I could sit here and chit chat all day long. I need to get to the block supply house and get some more material so I can wrap this thing up tonight, at least the flat work. A little bit more if you can. That's good. I gotta try this. Cause I know we're close. Oh yeah. That'll get the old butthole to pucker up right there. Ask me how I know. Not enough ballast. I've been saying it for years, and Adam from Hometown Acres keeps telling me I need to get my rear wheels or rear tires filled with some beet juice or rim guard, whatever the hell that stuff is. Well, there you have it. The last pallet broke up into 2. The final stretch, we're going to go ahead and finish this thing out here tonight, get this wrapped up, at least as close as we can until we run out of material. And then tomorrow, I'll be finally starting on that sitting wall. It is another day and another pallet of block. This is 1 pallet split into 2, and it is pretty breezy today. The leaves are definitely falling, a lot of them falling down in the pond. You'll notice the bright green patch over there. That is the best grass on our property at the moment, and it seems to be the only grass that's growing, so I'll have to get over there and try to mow that today as well. But the goal today is to get as many of these blocks laid as possible. I should be able to lay all these in just a couple hours, but that first initial layer around the border is going to be the most important one to make sure it's all level in both ways. So there's going to be an entrance right here along the shoreline. There will be an entrance over there along the shoreline, so that wall will stop short on both sides. And then there's going to be an entrance somewhere over here. I haven't decided yet. So I will have 3 entrances total. I guess the 4th one if you consider entering from inside the pond. Probably unlikely. Whatever. I'd have to imagine that this video is getting pretty boring by now because all I'm doing is laying blocks down on the ground. So I'll try to zip through this sitting wall and we'll get to some of the more interesting parts where we can touch on that stuff. But for right now, I'm just gonna get moving on this thing and see how it goes. I just want to show you, these blocks are 11 3/4. They're referred to as a 8 by 12 by 4, but it's just under each one of those measurements. So just under 12, just under 8, and just under 4. Actually, it's right at 4. I don't want to just straight dead end it like that, but if I turn it in and form a corner, it's going to give it a lot more strength, because I could see like one of the kids or someone else's kid running and jumping onto that wall, or honestly, even myself. I like to do like some parkour stuff around the property. It's pretty cool, but I don't really like to flaunt it. So I just want to add some strength to that corner. You gotta really beat the shit out of these things to get them to seat. Oh yeah, I have made the executive decision. I'm gonna go like this. Oh yeah, that's not bad. Okay, well, these aren't that. They don't come out as easy as they go in. Ah, there we go. You just gotta slap it sometimes. So the good thing I have going for me is that the length of these, 12 inches or 11 3/4, is pretty much the length of the pattern of the pavers. So the largest one is, it should be 11 3/4. Yeah, 11 3/4. So that's good, because then I just have to rip this paver here, trim a couple here, and then I'll bring the patio out even with this, or maybe a smidge further, and have a little bit of a reveal. Maybe that wraps around the edge. I think that would look nice. That's a couple days away though. I'm going to continue with this busy work, and we'll check back when I have some more progress. All right, it is another day. I worked a little later last night to try to get as much done as possible. I'm trying to take advantage of some of this nice weather we're getting again. I mean, right now it's 60 degrees. It's pretty awesome. And I'll take it, because this job is turning into a massive pain in my ass. It's just never ending. And I have worn the fingerprints off of my fingers. So last night I did rob a bank. So here's where I'm at right now. I've got the final layer on that sitting wall and the opposing side until the top cap. So the cap on this will be the same stone, just turned sideways and ran across. It'll give you a wider sitting surface there. But before I can put that on, I have to install all of the lights. Same thing on this wall. That is the final height. It's one step higher than this wall. So this one will be set up a little bit more for adults and slightly taller people. This one will be good for shorter people and kids. And this has a double purpose, really the main purpose, which is to kind of match grade. I don't want grade to run right into that. I want it to be higher, so you're not like sitting in the grass. Well, eventually there'll be landscaping there. And then right here, you saw that last little segment there where I was pulling out some of this material with the Bobcat. That worked out really well. Got down some good hard clay, put some stone in there, and this is where the stairs are gonna come up, and just, for now, kind of just match the grass, all the little landing pad right there. Eventually it's gonna come up and tie into the deck that I'm gonna build hopefully next year. So these, a little more tedious. I did end up having to go and get another pallet of that Lancaster sitting wall block. I feel like I'm going to the block supply place like every other day, and I still have a little bit more of the flat work to do here. I have to transition into the boulders. So there's still a lot to do. Unfortunately, I'm probably gonna end the video right here. I wanted to get this thing completely finished for this video. Being that I have so much more to do, I think I'm gonna roll into a third video. I just wanna take my time and hopefully give you guys some information in case you're looking at doing a project like this yourself, even though I'm not claiming to be an expert. But I wanna spend a little bit of time on the lighting and how I'm gonna do it and how I'm gonna install it. I'd also like to spend some time showing you guys how I'm gonna do the stairs. And I still have to put some sheets of plywood over the flat part here and run over it with the compactor and then put all the locking sand in. So I want to show you guys all those details, you know, if you're interested. Most people probably don't give a shit, and I'm kind of getting to that point right now. I am there actually. And I'll be able to get the family out. Hopefully we have one more little warm day and we could get a nice fire going on our new patio. So that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. And I'll be here studying more paver blocks. The sick part is that no keystones were consumed during this project. Don't know how that happened. I guess I just got locked in. Why didn't I hire this out? Dummy. This would make a hell of a dance floor. I got a big chunk of corn stuck in my tooth.